So tell us your names and majors.
I'm Brittany Guerin, and my major is film and video and religious studies.
My name is Alexis and I'm a psychology major.
You want to tell us about your poster?
Yeah, sure. So bees are very important to our agriculture. They actually account for 80% of the insect pollination. There are two specific types of bees that we're discussing. There are honeybees and bumblebees, who are considerably different. They are considerably different. The honeybees are smaller. The bumblebees are bigger. The hives for the honeybees actually range from 50,000 to 60,000 compared to bumblebees, where it's only 400 in the nest. The honeybees are mostly used by beekeepers and produce a lot of honey, whereas the bumblebees create a small amount of honey. The bumblebees are native to North America and the honeybees are native to Europe. Bees naturally have predators such as birds and frogs, but the worst predator that they have is the varroa mite, which is the spider's cousin, and it's a little red parasite that attacks the bees' immune system, so it makes them more vulnerable to diseases. Neonicotinoids are poisonous insecticides that humans use on flowers and plants, and it actually compromises the central nervous system of the bees, which causes paralyzation in the bee and even death. American foul disease is it actually attacks the larvae of the bees, and it's a bacterial disease that's in the genes of the bees. So we figured out a way to breed bees without this disease, and even bees have hygienic behavior where they can detect diseases such as the foulbrood disease. Colony collapse disorder is the abrupt disappearance of bees in the world, and it's extremely huge, and there's no scientific cause, but scientists have said that these factors, the varroa mites, the neonicotinoids, and the foulbrood disease, could be the cause of colony collapse disorder. And in the wintertime, it affects 30 to 90% of the entire colony, so it can wipe out that much of a colony.
So the reason this is important is because bees produce about $19 million to the Georgia's economic value alone. About $14 million of that comes from bee rentals. So beekeepers in southern Georgia or northern Georgia will rent out their bees to farmers all across the United States. For instance, in California, so they'll pollinate almond trees for this season. About $4 million of that comes from honey production, and then of course 20 to 30 million in total. The rest of that will come from just the pollination of crops, and that's about 55 crops in Georgia from about 155 different counties. And so what we can do in order to combat colony collapse disorder, one thing we can do is plant bee-friendly flowers. So if you have a garden, if you live in the suburbs, or if you live in like downtown Atlanta, you can create an urban garden with flowers like dandelions, sunflowers, or even asters. You can also buy local honey, so honey that's produced by people locally, because you know it's not going to have any neonicotinoids, and that also comes from organic farmers, so you know that your bees didn't die creating your honey.
All right. Did you learn anything interesting you took away from this? Fun fact or something?
Yeah, so bees can't detect if the seed that the plant has was laced with neonicotinoids, and a lot of people have said like they can detect whether or not they're eating neonicotinoid or pollinating a flower that has neonicotinoids, but they can't. So either one of them is going to look better, and bees actually pollinate more flowers with neonicotinoids in comparison to those without them.
And I didn't know much about bees, and especially that they account for 80% of the pollination. That's huge. So with the decline in bees, we only have bats to pollinate, and that's only 20%. So they're extremely important to what we eat every day, fruits and vegetables.